It has just been a week of Star Wars gaming news, which has been great. This is probably the most amount of news that we've received in the past year. Speaking of the news, if you want to stay up to date on all the news and all the upcoming Star Wars games, news, speculation, etc., be sure to consider subscribing to this channel. This is going to be your best source for all Star Wars gaming news and speculation. If you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing. But with that, let's get on to the news. So as you know, on the 13th of January, Lucasfilm Games made their press statement talking about how they are opening up the Star Wars license to companies other than just EA, and they are going to be developing a lot of new Star Wars games along with these new studios such as Ubisoft. Lucasfilm Games did mention something very interesting, specifically with EA, regarding their partnership going forward, and basically how that's going to just work out between them. There's a section of the news article that says, "Fear not, some old friends are sticking around. While we may not have a lot of details to share at the moment, we've got a number of projects underway with the talented teams at EA." And there was a tweet that I think from Lucasfilm Games or EA, I'll pull it up here. After announcing a Bethesda-led Indiana Jones game and an open-world Ubisoft game, Lucasfilm Games will continue with announcements this year, including a number of projects from EA. Now, when I hear a number of projects from EA, I think, okay, Jedi Fallen Order 2 is basically already confirmed at this point, but let's think about other projects. We could have an Inferno Squadron game of some kind, which is what I'm going to talk about in this video as well, but I think this could also be Battlefront 3. Now, I know that DICE is working on Battlefield 6, and this is technically speculation at this point, because there is no official news on Battlefront 3, so this is speculation, which is why the title of this video is a question mark, just for anybody who is curious on why I like to do that. But I definitely think that multiple projects from EA definitely does refer to Battlefront 3, but today's main topic of this video is going to be kind of a theory that I have about DICE LA and their new Star Wars game that they could be potentially working on. So this is speculation, so engage the tinfoil hats. Now, a couple of days ago, before we get to DICE LA, we got a tweet from TJ Ramini, who, as you guys know, is the actor for Del Meeko in the Star Wars Battlefront 2 campaign, and he posted a picture of him in a motion capture studio in response to a Star Wars facts tweet saying Star Wars Battlefront 2 actors are working together on a new project. TJ Ramini responds with him giving a thumbs up in a motion capture studio. Now, to most people, this is just a random motion capture studio. We don't know where this is. We just see some monitors and a little black bar in the background with some cameras on it. Now, this got me thinking because I remembered back when Battlefront 2 was being developed that they released a behind-the-scenes trailer for the motion capture, and so I was curious to see if this was the same studio. Now, I went and watched the video and did not find that black bar with the cameras on it, and the ceiling did not match the ceiling in TJ Ramini's tweet, so I basically concluded that this is a different studio. I was actually able to find the name of this studio that they used for Battlefront 2's motion capture by using a Facebook 360-degree video. That basically they did a 360-degree video of the studio doing the motion capture, and I was able to find the name of it being House of Moves, and that company has been I'm not sure if they're having difficulties because of the pandemic, because I have not seen any news from them or social media posts in over a year from them, but the studio that TJ Ramini is at in this tweet is not House of Moves motion capture. I was actually able to find which motion capture studio this is at and its location, which is going to be a very important factor coming up. The studio I was able to find by looking at different motion capture studios in LA, and I was able to actually find the official studio being Rogue Motion Capture in Marina del Rey. And if you look at a picture I'll attach right now, you can see the black bar with the cameras on it, the two monitors, and the ceiling tiles match the ceiling tiles in TJ's photo. Now you may be asking yourself, well, how does that's a coincidence, but is there any more evidence to prove that this is Rogue Motion Capture? Well, yes, there is. If you guys remember, a tweet from Anthony Scordi, the actor for Admiral Garrick Versio, posted a selfie of him in a sound recording studio. Now, if you look at the walls and the floor of this studio, I know this is a stretch, but I'm positive this is the same room. You look at the colors of the wall and the floor, and you go to Rogue Motion Capture's website, they actually have a picture of a sound recording studio with, what is that? The same colored wall and floor as the one in the tweet by Mr. Scordi, as well as the same kind of music stand and microphone that is present in the tweet from Admiral Versio here. Now, this is all really interesting, but what does the location of this relate to DICE LA? Well, DICE LA, if you didn't know, was actually a Star Wars game studio at first. That they wanted DICE to work in LA, and it was originally going to be made for Star Wars games, according to the Wall Street Journal. Of course, this didn't happen, but I thought it was funny that DICE LA was originally founded for Star Wars games. Now, the coincidence between Rogue Motion Capture and DICE LA is the fact that the studios are only a short distance away from each other. Specifically, the distance between Rogue Motion Capture and DICE LA is only 9 minutes away from that building. Now, the distance between House of Moves and DICE LA is only about 12 minutes, but I'm assuming that they went to this new studio because of the pandemic. Rogue Motion Capture has some COVID guidelines on their website, so I assume that they are still operating during the pandemic. Now, I believe that, these gaming studios and development studios are near the motion capture studios that they go to. Don't believe me? Well, if we look at Star Wars Squadrons and where they did their motion capture, Beyond Capture Studios in Vancouver, Canada, of course, took credit for the motion capture in Star Wars Squadrons. Now, if we look at Motive, the studio that developed Squadrons, they actually have a Vancouver studio that is only actually 18 minutes away from the studio. So that kind of makes you wonder, you have an EA studio really close to a motion capture studio. That's probably, the studio that's working on the game, etc. Now, there isn't any official news on DICE LA's Star Wars game, but we do know that Vince Zampella took over DICE LA earlier this year, and they are working on a, quote, shooter using the Frostbite engine. But it is, however, going to be an original series game. It's not going to be part of an established, series of games. So it's not going to be a Battlefront 3 game. So if anything, this makes me really believe that this could be an Inferno Squadron standalone game. But of course, this is just speculation and a coincidence that, you have DICE LA next to this motion capture studio. You have the actors in that motion capture studio, and you have Vince Zampella taking over DICE LA and working on this shooter game from DICE that is not going to be part of the Battlefield or the Battlefront series. But like I just said, this is speculation. We're going to have to wait and see. Could it be Battlefront 3, and could I be wrong? Yes. Could it be nothing and just an entirely new game? Yes, it could. Could this just be Jedi Fallen Order 2? We'll just have to wait and see. But with that, guys, I'm just going to draw this video to an end. I want to thank you guys so much for the support on the channel recently, and as I said earlier, if you're new to the channel and enjoy Star Wars news and gaming speculation, consider subscribing, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.
Do it. Do it. Do it. I am the Senate. Do it. Do it.